jms3music.
It's Saturday evening, August 28th, just after 6 p.m., and I'm proud to say I am about 24 hours ahead of the timeline I had envisioned for working on this. A couple of changes. First of all, I decided that the rain vibes needed some additional oomph to them, I suppose. And after thinking about this for a while, I decided that maybe a piano sound mirroring what the rain vibes are playing might work. So I have a lot of the pianos that Genesis has created over at soundsforbeats.com, and after trying quite a few of them, brazen wood pianos seem to fit really well. So what I've done is, just to give you a quick sample, this is what the rain vibes currently sound like on their own. Start at measure 5 where they first come in. And then to add the piano, provides a little more lower end impact to those notes, which does seem to help a little bit. So there's not a whole lot of bottom end on this piece overall. So that's one change. Another change is now the entire piece is entirely in 4/4 time, whereas before I had several transitions in several 7/4 and even one or two in 8/4. For simplicity's sake, in terms of working in the Vocaloid editor, I changed everything to 4/4, which in the end I think made for better transitions, to be honest. So that was a good problem. And now I have exported everything from Print Music and from the Vocaloid editor into Music Maker, so I can finally start to do the mixing. What I've done is, you'll notice in the mixer here, you can solo each individual instrument. So that's exactly what I did to export everything, except for the 2 tracks that were placeholders for the vocals. Everything was exported, 1 instrument per file, with the exception of the rain vibes and the piano on these 3 channels here, since they're mimicking the same notes anyways. So I just put them all onto the same track, onto the same file, which was loaded into the same track over here. So here you see all of the tracks, well, except for the support vocals. There we go. Not enough room to see them all vertically at once, but that's okay. And now I'm at the point where I can start editing. And just give you a sense of what this sounds like right now, pre-editing. Start at measure 17. This is just before the initial verse, and give you a quick sense of what this is like at this point. Clearly this needs some mixing. The score is rather loud compared to the vocals. So, yeah, I definitely need to spend some time working with this the rest of the weekend. And just kind of see where I'm at in 24 hours or so. But I'm pretty satisfied with it at this point. I knew this was going to happen. If I have to do the vocals in a completely separate program from the score, something like this is inherently going to happen. This also happened with The Night as well when I worked on that. So anyhow, time to do the mixing, and then hopefully in the next 24 to 48 hours we'll have something pretty close to a final product here. Okay, it's now Sunday the 29th of August, about 1 p.m., and I've run into a major issue here with the mix. specifically revolving around the end here of the main vocals. And this was uncovered last night during what I call the car test, which was basically taking the mix, putting it onto my iPod, and connecting that to the car stereo, and listening to that while I was driving around the west side of the city last night. I don't know why, but that really works. Something about the car speakers really helps to highlight any issues. Maybe a clash of instruments or whatever. In this case, what it revealed was that the beginning of the piece, the first 2/3 or so, everything's fine, calm, tranquil, languid, the way it was intended. And then when we get here towards the last third in the main vocals, the T sounds are suddenly really pronounced, which tells me that, one, they're clashing against something else, possibly the flute solo, since the flutes and the vocals generally aren't going at the same time earlier in the piece. But that in itself wouldn't be so much of a problem. The issue, though, is with those T sounds, especially in the words tomorrow and today. The entire mix suddenly spikes in volume. So that's the issue that I uncovered last night. I've got to figure out how to try to get around that, or how to soften those T's. I ran into a similar issue actually with the night, and there, since I knew even less then than I do now about mixing and everything, I actually took the vocal track, put it into WavePad, and manually went through, isolated the T sounds, and softened them. And that worked quite well. If necessary, I'll resort to that here as well, although it is a bit time consuming and potentially hit and miss in order to get that quite right and have those T sounds softened but still sit right with the rest of the syllables around them. Hopefully, now that I know a bit more, hopefully I can do something with just one, maybe two settings in Music Maker to soften the T's across the entire vocal track. And ideally that will eliminate the issue. It's going to take some experimentation, but that's the issue I'm up against, and so we shall see what happens. I am proud to announce that we finally have a finished product. It is Saturday, September 4th, 2010, 7:20 p.m. And after a couple of weeks, drifting is finally complete. To be honest, I didn't do a whole lot of work on it this week. Monday, Tuesday, purposely didn't touch it because I knew I needed a bit of a break before I really dove into trying to deal with some of the issues I ran into with the mix. And, well, the latter part of the week, work just got in the way, so that didn't really help much. So really the only time I've spent with it in terms of actual mixing was today, and it's worked out pretty well. I think we got a pretty good final product. But anyways, just to quickly recap, everything started here in Print Music with the actual score, including the vocal placeholders using the French horns. And then there was the period spent with the Vocaloid editor, putting in the actual lyrics, working with the phonemes, the accents, dynamic changes, and the like. And finally, a lot of time spent in Music Maker doing the actual mixing. Fortunately, I was able to overcome the issues that I ran into, including the explosive T issues. I fortunately did not need to go in and manually isolate those T sounds by hand in WavePad and deal with it there. Instead, I was able to work the limiter and some of the other parameters within Print Music to get rid of that issue. And also working with various settings, especially the reverbs and the stereo widths, really, I think, added a lot more life to the piece, especially between what I had when I started out today and the final product that we have. But anyways, it's finally done. It's already on the website, jms3music.com. I've also put it on my SoundCloud page already, soundcloud.com/jms3music. And this is also on my Facebook page, facebook.com/jms3music. And as it says here, This drifting is languid, relaxing, romantic, very different from The Night, the other Vocaloid piece that I've worked on. The Night is much more of a dance piece, very interesting in its own right, kind of catchy as well, I would think. But uh, between The Night and Drifting, I kind of like Drifting better. The Night was great. I especially like the piano parts in it, the piano solo in particular. But something about this set, this combination of instruments in Drifting, something about it just appeals to me a bit more. But anyways, please give Drifting a listen. Same with The Night. Same with the Aya Step and the other things that I've put out there as well. Let me know what you think. Provide me with some feedback. That's the only way I'll know what really works and what needs to be improved. And I hope to see you back here again soon.
jms3music